Hello, and thank you for joining me today. Well, this is the Wednesday, June 5th edition of our video devotionals. Thank you so much for joining us today, and hope your Wednesday is going well. It is the middle part of the work week, and I'm pretty sure about this. This will be the last for the public school children and kids, teenagers this week. I think Friday's the last day, at least I know some of the area schools here. But all that being said, it's wrapping up. I know the kids looking forward to the summer vacation, as we call it. I always did, and I'm sure there's not a kid in the world that doesn't enjoy being out of school for at least a little bit of time. And then, of course, it won't be long. You'll be back in be back in August. But all that to say, thank you for watching. Now, you that watch these on a regular basis know that Monday, Tuesday, we didn't have any videos. Not to spend a lot of time on this. I had planned on it. It actually took things that I normally take with me to do it, but we left Monday morning at 7 from our house, drive to the coast. Ended up being about a 5.5, 6 hour trip by the time we stop a couple of times, I guess it was, maybe once. At any rate, we get down to the coast there and see her mom and dad, and then time passed. I said, well, I'll do it Tuesday morning. Well, get up Tuesday morning, a lot of things to do. And we end up leaving by 1 o'clock, try to beat the Raleigh traffic. You that are in North Carolina, try to beat that traffic. So we kind of did a little diversion to avoid that, go a little country route, which was enjoyable. But all that to say, we're basically there about 24 hours. And then we get back here so we can be good for a Wednesday night church and all of that. So all that to say, we don't miss many of these, but we did miss 2 in a row. But we appreciate you that if you missed it, we appreciate the fact that you enjoy these and you want to see them. So all that being said, we're going to do a little, I guess, a mini thing this week. We might even not do a theme. It may end up being a theme, but at any rate, we're going to be in 2 Samuel today. And we're going to be, let's see here, we're going to be in chapter 8. It is, 8:15 is the verse. And then to kind of contrast that, we're going to be over in 2 Samuel 15:4. So 2 Samuel 8:15, 2 Samuel 15:4. And we're going to talk today about justice. There's a lot in the news today about justice. You see these court trials going on. We won't get in all the details of that, but you see them, very high profile. And oftentimes the question becomes, has justice been met? And is how important is that? So we're going to talk a little bit about that today, and maybe tomorrow and Friday as well. But at any rate, thank you again for watching. We appreciate everybody who does. All right. So notice here in 2 Samuel 8:15, here's what it says, speaking of David. And David reigned over all Israel, and David executed judgment and justice unto all his people. Now that's an attribute. In other words, that's a positive being stated there. It's not being stated that David put the iron hand out upon him, so to speak. One of David's great attributes is his love for his country, his love for the people, and what he did for them. And the Bible's saying here, one of the ways that he showed his love and attention and appreciation even to his people is that he executed judgment and justice unto all his people. We all know what justice and judgment is. To kind of get an official definition, I looked it up there. The Hebrew word used there means to be, or to make right. In a moral sense, it means to cleanse. It also has to do with just rightness, being right. And David says, we're going to do right around here. We're going to make sure people are done right, as we would use that expression. So if there was an injustice, then David did what he could to make sure there was no injustice. And that's exactly a primary part of our government, what it should do for us, to make sure there's justice. So if today we look at the environment around us, and you see the things on television and even things on a local level, sometimes we ask ourselves, where is justice? Where is justice? Where are the people that should be tried? And by the way, to do it rightly, in our country, I don't know if this is a foundational principle around the world, but in our country, you are innocent until proven guilty. Okay, so that's a good philosophy. I've always had this. You say, well, there's people in prison that are there that they got their just due. Okay, I get that. How about there's people that are in prison that are there and we're innocent? Okay, and what about the people who should be there who are not there? I've always said it's better to let the guilty go free than for the weight of it be for the innocent to be in prison. So if you say, well, I'm sure there's people that should be in prison that are not there. I agree with that. There's also people in prison that should not be there that are there. But all that being said, we have a system in which we try to make sure there's justice. Now, if it's wrong, it's gotten wrong. Okay, we understand that's the chance that's taken, especially when you have a jury. Okay, you understand that. But here's the big problem, though. If at the very front of things, the very foundation, there's no justice, the people that should be bringing the cases and trying the cases, the people that make the arrest, if there's no justice there, there's an agenda to not bring justice, and especially over huge swaths of the population or certain people in the way they live, then the injustice, it stands out. And David was the kind of person who says, you know what, I'm going to do right. I'm going to do right in this country, and I'm going to be the right kind of leader, and I'm going to execute justice and judgment to the people, and I'm going to do that as a protection to the people, and obviously just a protection for right itself. All right, to contrast that, not spend as much time, I want you to notice over here in chapter 15 of the same book, 2 Samuel 15:4, notice this. This is regarding David's son. And here's what David's son said. He says, and Absalom said, moreover, oh, that I were made judge in the land, that every man which hath any suit or cause might come unto me, and I would do him justice. There's an exclamation mark. Now here's a story, though, about Absalom, though. Absalom wasn't interested in justice. In fact, Absalom, the Bible says, he was stealing the hearts of the people when they would come to him and say, oh, let me help you, and yeah, let me be your help here and your guide, and let me make sure everything's done right. What he was doing is getting all this favor, because what he was going to do is overthrow the kingdom of his own father. Okay, so here's a man that says he wants justice. He didn't want justice. He wanted people to look at him as if he's a person of justice, and then he overthrows his own father. And what an ugly situation that was. And the Bible spends a good amount of time on that, and Absalom and David and all of that. Of course, Absalom eventually he dies. And so the point here is, here's a man that wasn't interested in justice. He was interested in his own self. He was selfish. And that's where justice and judgment can be a real big problem. Have you not heard this phrase? It's come up in the last decade or two, weaponizing the justice system, using it as a weapon against people, not as an institution that is to help people and to make sure that justice and judgment goes forward. And Lady Justice, there's a statue in many courthouses, if not all of them, that basically shows a lady in a robe, kind of that Greek era look, but she's got a pair of scales in her hands, and they're equal, and she's got a blindfold. In other words, a justice doesn't look at the person and say, well, I'm going to make sure justice is done to you, but it looks at another person and says, but to you, we will have no justice. And that's where people really have a huge problem, as well we should. Absalom was wicked. Absalom was wicked. He didn't want justice, but he makes that statement, he makes that claim. And some make the claim and the statement of justice, but justice is not what they're interested in. They're interested in their own agenda, and oftentimes that agenda is not the right agenda at all. Well, we took a little extra time here. That's kind of, I think many of us understand judgment and justice, but just to compare the two, David was a good man in many respects. But one of his attributes was he was a man of justice and a man of judgment, especially looking at his people and making sure they were taken care of. Absalom was not. So we've seen that down through the ages. We see it in our day and age. You understand that. So let's just determine ourselves. Let's love the concept and be just and perform judgment as we can. I know we're not judges in that sense, but we are people that can make fair assessments and treat people fairly. And that's a good and a great attribute. Well, we're going to stop right there. Hope you have a great day, safe day, healthy day, Lord willing. We'll see you tomorrow on Thursday, and thank you for watching.